Why does it sound like that?
Bang, bang.
Now, I hope when I use the instrumentals, that those don't get us in trouble. That's why I use the instrumentals.
Yo, that shouldn't be called Footloose.
What should be called?
Shoulder loose.
Why?
My shoulders are fucking chilling on that.
Yeah. Because you do the fat white boy dance where you just sit there in a chair and just exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
We just roll. It's almost like one of those punching bags that you had as a kid. That would just wobble. It never fell down.
Weebles wobble.
Yeah. It's like.
All right, folks. Welcome to Grown Up 90. I am the 1984 Ren, and that is over there is a 2011 Ren from Footloose.
Yeah.
And
wavy Ren.
you're Boston Ren, because the 2011 remake, it takes the kids from Boston.
Is he? They love Boston nowadays.
Nowadays, they love Boston.
We're winning.
Yeah, so don't forget, folks, you can follow us on Instagram at John Regal, at GrownUp90, at Soul.Criminal. And if you are listening to us, you can watch us on YouTube, where we actually put clips and pictures up on the screen to match whatever the fuck it is we're talking about. Mm-hmm. You can just search GrownUp90. That is one word. So if you find us on the podcast, and you can obviously find us to fucking
I like them
listen
to stand
to.
on the mic.
And if you are listening to us, watching us on YouTube already, and you don't listen to us, you can listen to us, and you can enjoy traffic with us. If you search Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean, Grown Up 90, all one word.
I get to enjoy it
all right.
sometimes.
Summertime. Dude, why do you always wear dark colors? You literally look 10 times fatter with the couch in the background.
Wait till the spring starts coming. I'll be in my basketball shorts and my tees.
Oh, you're not going to wear tank tops and just flex it all out for everybody?
The V-neck skid.
The Italian V-necks?
Dude.
You had the gold chain sitting there?
All jersed out.
All Jewed out?
Jersed out.
Jersed out?
Boston, Jersey.
So, how was your week? I know you went to the vagina doctor the other day, and how did that work out?
Yeah, didn't we? Did we? Oh, last week I was in the sweats, the opposite of this clothes. I actually had.
You are in sweats.
I had black sweats, navy blue top. This week it's navy blue sweats, black top.
Yeah.
Navy blue hat, black shoes.
Oh.
You see that?
No, because it looks exactly the same.
Accessorizing.
It looks exactly.
Dark colors.
John is the worst dresser of all my friends.
Who dresses the worst?
You, hands down, dressed the worst.
So yeah, I went to the mangina doctor.
Yeah, and didn't you tell everybody the warning you gave your vagina doctor?
I love that. I said, and I said, hey. She's like, all right, well, let's check out your testes. I go, well, I just want to give you a heads up there. It's been a couple days. Haven't really trimmed the bushes a little bit. Literally, just like that.
Hey, what was her reaction?
And she goes, well, it's all right. I've seen and touched all shapes and sizes and colors around here.
She's a cock lover.
She
this is one of
those things.
God bless her. She was probably such a whore. She's like imagine her at college parties. Like, let me see your nuts. Let me see your dick. Just show me your dick. This is she is probably the worst date possible, because not the worst date, but the best female friend to have that will just call out any dude. It's like, let me see your dick.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me just hold the thing real quick.
Let me see. I'll tell you all about it. And the guy's like, oh no, because the guys who run around talk about how big their dicks are, like you do. Let me see your dick then.
Just whip it out.
Show me your dick.
And I had baby powder all on there from work, sweating on the nuts. And she gave me a funny look at the end, like,
oh, that tuna can and the muffin top is pretty interesting.
She looked appetizing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Regal. I'm about to go get lunch. Anybody got a tuna sandwich?
She's like, I'm going to go out and get a sausage now.
Well, as long as it's on a cocktail weenie, I guess you're good, right?
But they're surprised the thing hasn't spit out, or I did spit it out and didn't feel it. I don't feel any... I physically feel different. I feel better. but I don't feel like I spit anything out of my dick.
I don't know. Maybe you broke up enough that you wouldn't feel it.
I mean, maybe, right?
Could. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't.
I asked, I was like, I'd feel like a pellet, like a little...
It'd be funny if you heard them made that noise when I hit the thing. Like you dropped a penny in there. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, but people have said they spit it out and fucking were peeing blood for like 10, 15 minutes after that.
Oh, God.
Like, there you go, it goes away, but like he goes for the next little bit. He goes, I had to wrap like a toilet paper diaper around the head of my dick for a little bit.
A dick diaper. John had a dick diaper.
I didn't have the dick diaper.
You had a dick diaper.
So, yeah, I told him, I go, hey, well, I don't really feel like I spit anything out of that dick, you know what I mean? I've definitely stroked it. I've hugged it.
A dick kerchief?
The dick-kerchief. Yeah, the dick-kerchief?
Stop playing video games.
No, it's the wife. I asked her if she's got...
Any more dick diapers?
Did you ask, though? So I initially said, will you ask if there's any more Girl Scout cookies floating around with that lady? She says, they're sold out. But then I reply, but did you ask, though?
So anyway, how's the... we're going to get to our weekly diet. We already weighed ourselves in.
I need a round of cookies, though.
And you can have those.
No, those are done.
You already finished them?
Yeah, those
How many were there missing in there?
there's like 4 left.
Oh, I only had a couple out of those. I got kind of tired of them because I've been eating them at work, too.
No, those are the firest.
So we each weighed ourselves in. We each lost 3 pounds.
Yep.
Whoa! But don't forget, folks. The reason this is the thing because
Well, let's talk about what I quit since.
Okay. Did you quit? Would you quit?
Coffee.
Yep.
Soda.
Yeah. Did you quit coffee? Just not drink it for the stone.
I mean, I'm not going to go back on the coffee.
Okay.
I'd rather go back on the butts.
Okay.
Butts, coffee, and soda.
Soda's easy to quit though.
No. Well, yeah, this. Literally, water and lemon juice. It's my stuff, dude.
You told me it was San Pellegrino. Now, okay.
Pellegrino, the Italian
a week ago was like, dude, I'm drinking a San Pellegrino. Bought a 36 case of that shit for $85, and that's all. That's it. I'm drinking. That's all I'm drinking. Comes in today, dude. Water and lemon. That's it. That's all you need to drink. And drink. See, this is what I was telling you.
Pellegrino,
this is what I was telling you, folks. When John has the answers to everything. He knows everything. So it went from Pellegrino being the shit to just simple lemon and water, which everybody knows about. But apparently he invented it. So I didn't quit anything. I just continue living my life. I just don't. I don't eat as much. That's all. I cut my portion size. That's more important to me. Is cut my. I don't eat a lot as it is already, but I had to learn to do that because I do have a habit of being like, if the food is there, I will eat it. And rather than saying, because I can literally take a few bites of something and just be like, I'm all set. And so rather than just saying I'm all set, I'll be like, it's sitting there. Don't want it to waste because I'm too fat and lazy. And I'll walk downstairs and put it in my fridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had to. It's a weird survival thing because my mother cooks for like 80 people all the time, and since I don't know how to cook, she cooks for me. Yeah, so she still cooks for like 80 people, and I'm like, what the frig? So like I feel obligated to eat it because she does get bent. Like she calls me fat, but she gets bent if I don't eat. So it's like I don't want to get my mom bent, and I'm not going to feed to Rambo because the way she cooks. You know what I mean? It's not good for a dog. So I'm just like fuck. So I gotta teach myself. So eventually my mother will figure it out without being an asshole. So
did you tell her I ate that whole apple pie?
No. Oh yeah, I did when I brought it upstairs.
That apple pie was fire.
So 3 pounds in a week. I'm just easing myself into habits at this point. So that's really all that is. And plus my hip is still killing me.
They sold their last box last week.
Oh. I thought you had the pre-sell cookies before you got them.
Well, I think they order them in box of bulk. You know what I mean? And then
then they separate amongst who ordered them.
Yes.
All right. Why didn't you tell me that you like them? Because I would have got some when I got some.
My daughter's a Girl Scout. We sold them already.
So why didn't you buy some from your daughter?
Oh, we did.
Oh, you wanted more?
No, we're months past the sale. Some of the ladies still had the holdout packages,
Oh.
Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm screaming for who's got the exclusives right now. They're already off the market.
Exclusive
They're already
Girl Scout
off
cookies.
the market.
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to ask one more. Hey, can you ask if you can still get
Cookies. I need my cookie.
from
Cookie.
the Scouts?
All right, can you not worry about the cookies and just worry about this podcast?
I'm with it.
I'm with it. So Rambo's new thing at work, by the way, John. Remember a few months back, he was when you were still working there, and we found him on the desk.
Yeah.
Well, his new thing is crawling out that side window.
Onto the top
He crosses my desk to that side sliding window.
where I used to chill.
Yeah, and then he crawls out there. So now I got to keep the window closed all the time, and he whines like a bitch. So now I got to put him in the car.
Does he jump off of it?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, so I have to keep it closed.
Close it.
And he knocks everything off. He knocks the speaker down. He knocks down both speakers, actually. Fucking pain in the balls.
Does your
And he instantly whines now, too.
warehouse driver piss the dog off?
No, why?
Does he like the dog?
Yeah,
Does the dog like him?
yeah.
Nice.
It was fine. He just whines. He's a fucking little bitch. I had to practice keeping him at home now. Fuck him. Pain in my ass. Anyways,
Blew your chances.
yep. I tell him, I go, you're fucking this up, dude. You're fucking this up. So this week we're gonna go over Footloose. Now, John made a point when I was talking to him earlier. It's a good point because this is why I did call you yesterday, because I was just like, I was trying to think of stuff to do, and everything I popped up was like, it was like stuff that we always talk about on our own, and I'm just like, dude, we like way more shit from the 80s than we do from the 90s. We love 80s movies, and I love 80s music too, but we love 90s music. And like other things, you know. But I'm like, we grew up in the '90s, but I don't like when you're a kid, you're home a lot, so you're watching a lot of stuff. And then when you're a teenager, you're not doing that shit. Like, think about it. And I was like, I'm trying to figure out why. I'm like, well, I didn't really go to the movies when I was a teenager because I was out drinking and doing other shit. And then when I went to college, I was drinking and doing all the other shit. I was never watching movies. Rarely I would go to them if a girl wanted to go or whatever else. That was it. But I'm thinking about, I was like, every once in a while I'd watch a movie, and as much as I enjoyed them, but I didn't really like do that stuff until I was working, and like I went into like the working field, and you know, and that was the time you wanted alone, you know, or just to hang out and chill. And I was like, I really didn't watch much. Like I watched a lot of '90s stuff, but I didn't, not in comparison to like the '80s stuff that we watch. Like we even watched '80s themed modern shows and movies.
Yeah, when you think about it, like you just said, 80s movies, 90s music.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
yeah. It's so I'm like sitting there going, well, I mean, we're 90s because we grew up. That's the point of the podcast. But we did mention, you know, in the first episodes that we are 80s and 90s talking about growing up as 90s teenagers. So it's not necessarily growing up just 90s, but as 90s teenagers. So I mean, I kind of just got to roll with that, unless we specify like we did with the comedians, 90s comedians, because if we did 80s and 90s, the list would have been twice as long. You know, so we just stick like unless we specify. So that's where this just kind of draws from. So if you're really thinking that, but I mean, we grew up watching these things because we don't understand these movies either until we are teenagers in the 90s.
Right, because I would have had Sam Kinison because even as a kid I was watching him.
Yeah, but we don't understand what we're laughing at completely. Right. You know, because we are also all victim of everybody else laughing in the background. Yeah. You know, so like so I think as we get older and as growing up, we can appreciate the things of our childhood and our past that we saw. Like, you know, like even that's like watching horror movies. They look different when you're older, so you get a better understanding of actual stories that are going on and such. So, so this goes along with these stories, even though Footloose is a pretty basic story. So, you ready to get into this?
I'm with it.
You with it? I'm with it. All right, so let me just go to a brief overview here. I'm going to do my overview. So Footloose was directed by Herbert Ross, known for like Steel Magnolias. You ever see My Blue Heaven? I like that movie.
Is that with Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he had the flat top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Boys on the Side. The 2011 version was directed by Craig Brewer of Hustle and Flow. We're going to kind of go back and forth between 2011 and the 84 version. The 84 version will be the main focus. I'll just do obvious comparisons, differences, in the 2011 version, just because I like both versions. I like Footloose. It's one of my favorite movies.
I never even knew of the 2011 till
I thought it was going to be cheesy because you know, like any other remake, you know? And, I mean, Julianne Hough is awesome to look at, so I'm not going to complain. But it was actually done really well because it stayed true to the actual story. It just updated. It just tweaked a couple. They didn't really update anything. It just changed like the location of where they went to. I'll go over that, but so the 84 version, as most of us know, starred Kevin Bacon as Ren, and the modern was Kenny Wormald. Laurie Singer was Ariel, and Julianne Hough was in the modern one. Chris Penn was Willard. Miles Teller was Willard. John Lithgow was the Reverend, and then Dennis Quaid was the Reverend in the modern one. So basically, the story you've already seen it, you already understand it. So this would be my overview of it, and you can jump in whenever you feel like, John, because just don't jump ahead like you love to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, story's about this gentleman Ren who moves to Beaumont, Utah, and in the modern version, it's actually Beaumont, Georgia, from Chicago/Boston, respectively. In the original, they do not say why Ren had moved to Utah, but in the modern one, they gave a reason why, because Ren's mother had died of leukemia, so he had to go live with his uncle. So that's the reason why. And Ren finds himself not fitting in right away. He's a little bit too big city for the small town life. He quickly grabs the attention of the Reverend's daughter, in both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And the rebellious Reverend's daughter, that's pretty atypical, Ariel. How do you say it? Is it Ariel, or how would you say it? Ariel?
Booty, filth, booty.
Okay, Booty, filth, booty, who's a rebellious girl that may have kissed a lot of boys. They reference this in the movie a lot. A couple of times, yeah.
Awesome.
So her brother died in a car accident a few years prior to, I think it was like 2 or 3 years prior to Ren showing up. And as a result, on his way home from drinking and dancing, and the Reverend put a ban on dancing in public altogether because, dancing equals death in this world, folks.
Right.
But only when it's done in public.
Now, why was it originally banned?
Because his son had died in leaving a dance.
Leaving a dance.
Leaving a dance. So eventually we find out that
the Reverend's son?
Yes, all the people which is Ariel's brother, which they all equate dancing. Majority of them equate dancing with drinking and drugs. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
The people somehow associate dancing with drinking and drugs, but you cannot do. Well, fair, but because you can't do one without the other. It's like
there's always some substance.
dancing, drinking, and drugs. It's like coffee and cigarettes. It just
they do go.
They go hand in hand, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, because So there is a scene at the beginning of the movie we all seen when they're at the burger joint and they're all dancing in the parking lot. It's in both.
That happens.
It's in both things. Well, I guess when you can't do something and you want to do it and your body's like aching to do it, you're going to do it. But you know what, though? I wouldn't be surprised if in the 80s it did happen. Because think about breakdancing. It was literally done in the middle of the sidewalk and shit. Everything was way more public back then. It didn't be like.
Wasn't
think about it. Yes. Think about how over the decades, starting probably with the mid '90s, people started becoming more and more introverted. And now that with technology, people definitely don't go out as much. So it was because you and I complain all the time about we don't see kids out on the street
home on your phone to the world.
You were outside doing everything. That's where entertainment and technology has ruined that interaction. When we hung out in groups. We would meet up the street and by the 30s and 40s. Groups of people all the time because that's how you did it and because that's how you organized. You're like, who's up there? You found out, and then you found out what everything was going on and whether it's in your own area or someone else's area. And that's just kind of how it all meshed. Yeah. And it's all disappeared. You don't rendezvous anywhere. Mm-hmm. You don't go and just hang out and cops know where you are.
People are like, what's rendezvous?
Remember when you would get in trouble by the police and it'd be like, go home, read a book or whatever else? And nowadays, no one's out. Do you think the cops would rather know where all the kids are? Or would they rather have them sitting at home probably doing drugs in the basement or whatever? I'm not saying all the kids, but I'm just, you know what I mean? Causing trouble in homes in secret. Or would they want to know who the troublemakers are? And I think as a kid, you learn more being that... You hot?
No.
Want to turn that towards you then? Or towards the middle?
Go right too hot.
Yes. Too much. Because I got the one by my legs.
For my refill.
So, I think what we learn how like not to get in trouble as much, but we think it's cool because it's part of our life. So what it does is like it limits you in what you can do because you know at some point, Officer so and so is going to show up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, and things along those lines. You know, and it makes it makes you think more. You got to learn to strategize. You got to learn to do a lot of things. Where now it's just
at the burger joint, kid.
The burger joint, kid.
Stop dancing.
Yeah,
That'd be us break dancing at Dairy Dome, which probably happened.
Probably.
It happened.
But it's true, that or Redstone or something, along those lines. Absolutely. It's but like that's that's just where times have changed, and so I believe it would have happened. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched.
No, I really don't.
Dude, the car's playing the song.
Yeah.
Everybody, cut the carpet.
Cut the carpet. Pull out the cardboard. So anyway,
Footloose was all like cocaine music.
What do you mean?
It was like so fast-paced.
Dude, you should hear the newest one. It's all like that too.
Much fun. My poor heart can't take it.
So eventually, excuse me. First day of school, Ren
super healthy.
Ren gets to school. Ren gets to school dressed all up like he's from the police, not the actual police, but the band. And he meets Willard after a couple of wisecracks. And Willard's this really nice country boy, good old boy. Doesn't make him a racist. Good old boy from there, Utah. And so he shows him around, they chit-chat and yada, yada, yada. And, they do typical conversation stuff. And eventually, Ariel's boyfriend, who had seen how she looks at Ren and at the dancing in the parking lot and them getting all sexy and up next to each other, challenges Ren to a game of chicken with tractors. So they got to be there at 2:30. Don't know what. Find out when you get there. And he gets there, and they have to teach him how to drive a tractor. And
within seconds.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was longer, but in movie seconds, yes. Within movie seconds, he learns how to drive it. I mean, he's literally just going straight. It's like gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. That's it.
Yeah.
So he plays chicken on the tractor. Is that mine or yours?
That's me.
And Ren eventually wins because his shoelace gets stuck in the clutch, so he can't actually jump bail like he wanted to. So
she did it.
She found you cookies?
No, she built their vanity.
Oh. Can you tell you're doing a podcast and you can worry about that later?
Yeah, keep going.
I mean, I know I'm not big on you ignoring your wife because I love your wife, but Jesus. So anyway, Ren and the boys are. Did you notice that Meat was one of Ren's boys in Meat from Porky's? Is one of Ren's boys in his group of like 5 friends.
Which one? Who's
in 84? Meat, the big guy who hooks up with the with Porky's daughter in Porky's. You don't remember? He's got the deep voice, and they go, "Why did they call you Meat?" And they see his dick. And
isn't the little guy in Porky's the guy from Ghostbusters 2?
I don't think so.
The art.
It might be. Is it?
He's like, oh, this is Beagle.
Is it?
He is the guy from
It might
Porky's.
be. But anyway, so Meat in from Porky's is an.
I don't know who Meat is.
He's an Italian-looking guy, well built.
I'm looking him up here.
You gonna look up Meat from Porky's?
Yep. Show a dick pic right now.
Or someone fucking a pig. It's either or. So of course this draws Ariel a little bit closer.
I know him.
Yeah, he was one of his boys in there.
That guy, he was hilarious.
Yeah. What's your name? Meat. Where was I? So anyway, Ariel gets her panties all wet from seeing Ren win, but still some stop her from hanging out with her boyfriend, who eventually beats her after he takes her virginity from her.
Yeah.
Now in the original, shut up. In the original, they were already sleeping together. And
is he the guy that she jumped in the truck with?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then the remake, Ariel loses her virginity to the guy, to the boyfriend, who was a race car driver in that one, and so that becomes in the play later on in the makes more sense later on in when she yells with her, fights with her father, and she says, "And I'm not even a virgin," when they get in a fight and he slaps her. because that slap becomes a big part of the storyline.
Yeah, I'd do that too. Yeah. In this day,
Oh, it's gonna happen soon.
2020, I'm smacking the shit out of someone.
And so anyway, so they get a little closer after she catches a whooping from her fucking abusive piece of shit boyfriend, and but Ren's upset because the town hates him. He gets pulled over. People don't like him.
Yeah,
all he wants to do is dance.
A buggy in Chevy Town.
Yeah, so he finds an abandoned warehouse and he does some punch dancing and swings around because he used to do gymnastics. That's the other thing, folks. He was a gymnast, and he don't have a gymnastics team in there, so he gets made fun of for that stuff too as well. But he ends up meeting up with Ariel after. He finds out how crazy Ariel is as she tries to dodge a train because he could either make out, which he didn't want to kiss her yet, because he feels like she's kissed a lot of guys.
You're right. I love that because she has.
It's a great line, dude.
Yeah.
You want to kiss me? Yeah, but I feel like you've kissed a lot. Those lips have kissed a lot of guys. Something along those lines. I think it's fantastic.
I don't want herpes, though.
Yeah, let me just see. Give it a month. If anything pops up, it doesn't pop up, we're good.
Yeah. Keep coming around every day for about a month, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah. So through all this, he decided with Willard that he's gonna figure out how to put on a dance. And he goes to the city with Willard, Ariel, and Ariel's friend Rusty, Willard's little girl on the side piece there. And they go dancing, and they find out that Willard can't dance.
Yeah.
And Willard needs to learn to dance because Willard was white as can be. He is the John Regal to the Soul Criminal.
Regal tried to dance.
And Willard did too. And sitting in your chair dancing doesn't count.
But I remember going to like the hop, dude, and trying to just do this.
At the hop? They dance at the hop? Oh, no, I'm thinking White Horse. Excuse me.
Do the hop.
The harpsichord? So there's a nice montage of Chris Penn learning how to dance, and also Miles Teller learning how to dance. It's actually a great montage because it's just fun to see all the different him trying to learn and practicing and slamming down on the floor, and his parents running what the fuck's going on upstairs.
Can I address the fact that Kevin Bacon can't dance for 1 ounce of shit on him?
Well, he danced to most of the movie, so.
Dude, he didn't dance. He ran around yards and warehouses.
Well, who do you think? He did the dances in the last dance sequence.
He was jump kicking. Dude, his dance was like this. He did the Regal dance. I could do Footloose in the 80s right now.
Yeah, you probably could.
They'd be like, this kid's sick. Do you see the moves he's got? I'd be like, woo, woo.
So, where am I? So eventually Ren does kiss Ariel after a month of no herpes outbreaks, and they decide to take on the town committee with a Bible. Because if you preach the Bible and dancing in celebration in the Bible and quote it, you have a way better shot of... hold on a second, I'm getting a phone call from Mom. Okay, so they learn from Bible verses, and sorry, Mom needed to see the dog. Because Bible verses rule all.
I like that scene.
Rule all when he reads from the Bible.
Well, yeah, because he
Do you remember that? Do you remember that verse from the Bible?
I don't remember that verse. I wonder if it's actually in there. They just made it up.
I don't know. I'm sure they wouldn't make it up.
Right. Yeah, right?
Because it could be proven very quickly.
Right, because he said he gives the psalm and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to check on it though. But I like how he used that guy's defense against them.
Yeah. So
he's like,
So anyway, after finally walking around town, handing out flyers and convincing the town folks that would listen to show up for this town committee meeting, where he would cite said Bible verses, and they all need to show up and support him. Even though the town did not want to listen to him because they're a bunch of old fogey jerks, and so whatever. The town does end up denying them the right to dance anyway, which upsets the kids. But Ren does find a solution. He does find a warehouse right outside the town border to run the dance, so it would not be against town ordinance. And all the guys get together and the kids get together and decorate the warehouse to a top-notch hoedown scene. And On the night of the prom, Ariel's ex shows up to cause a little bit of havoc. Him and his cronies decide to jump Willard, even though Willard promised not to fight. And Willard holds his own pretty damn good, I got to say, until finally Ren comes out, drop kicks the boyfriend. And
that's how he dances. He's like, oh, someone want to dance?
Drop kicks him, and they stop brawling. And then Ariel and Rusty hold their own by beating the crap out of some of the other guys who wanted to fight dirty. And that really ended that. And so they all went in the house after the Reverend's dad and Ariel's dad, the Reverend, showed up to sneak and see what they were doing. And he was trying not to get himself involved because he felt bad and everything else. And
they're doing that devil dance.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will give the two scenes mirroring each other in the newest version and the old version was even kind of prom dresses and their outfits did mirror the look. Like the new version, he used the exact same tux. The dress was of Ariel with the same color, same styling, with the kind of frilly, which I thought, like little homages like that was what a reboot should be.
I'm going to watch it.
You know, it's good. And
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, and so eventually they all go back inside the dance, and the dance is pretty slow because nobody's actually dancing because it is a town where you're not allowed to dance, so you don't know what you're doing. So the lead football player convinces his lineman to go ask the other girls to go dance, and they eventually start dancing. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, Footloose plays on the radio, and everybody is suddenly a finalist on Dancing with the Stars or whatever, because they can break dance, they can pop and lock. They can line dance in sync.
The white kids.
Well, it's a white town, so,
dude,
they were fucking, doing the robot, they're doing everything.
He hit with the neck joint?
Yeah.
I was like, this kid can actually break dance.
The break dance scenes in the first one, I actually think were better than in the second one.
Yes.
Did you see the second one?
I watched the final scenes.
Yeah, and it looks.
But the two. I watched their cowboy and their Kevin Bacon do a dance move.
And the second one was better.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
And so Kenny Loggins apparently has the magical lyrics to turn you into a world-class dancer.
Elastic electric guitar that.
Bang, 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 bang.
It just sounds like the notes are loose.
Yes.
And when you watch the video, like it's almost like a foot fetish video.
Yeah.
It just shows all the feet.
No, I think it's more of a high heel fetish than a. So, but yeah, that's the basic outline of Footloose. It was. I enjoyed the movie. It's still one of my favorite movies. I watch it, I smile, I have a good time. I just watched both of them last weekend, so that's why I wanted to bring it up and look up some stuff on it, just to do some of my own comparisons and see what while it was still fresh in my head.
Quotes. Are the quotes pretty much the same?
Like
I just froze. Don't stop, make cinnamon pop.
Huh?
Make sugar pop.
Was that in there?
He's like telling him how to have sex. I always thought about Pop Tarts when I was a kid because I was like super young when that came out.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, don't stop, dude, stop, make sugar pop. Or something. He's like talking to the cowboy.
Yeah, you know what? I don't really know if the lines, because now thinking back to like how Cobra Kai did it, I don't know if.
Because I honestly, as a kid, I never knew what that meant, and I was like, wow, they're talking about Pop Tarts. I fucking love Pop Tarts.
I fucking love.
Footloose is talking about Pop Tarts. This is sweet.
When he's telling the story about him at the club at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he was like talking about sex or something, right?
Yeah. No, the stories are different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the stories are the same but different. Obviously, there's an updated version of it.
A couple other things I was watching the 10 top quotes of that movie.
All right, you know what? We'll stop it while we watch. All right, so what did I say? There was like 5 quotes in that, about 5 of them that were the same. Now, the pansy one, they changed to fag.
Oh, wow.
They updated the fag. And that one, the preaching one with her father.
I would have thought they'd say pansy because that's offensive for using the F.
Well, which is why I think they updated it, and did it that way. Because the character who played the boyfriend was just one of those fucking typical dickheads who would use it.
Was he good?
In that way?
Dick bag?
Yeah, he was a good dick bag. Good bag of dicks.
It's tough to find a good dick bag.
Yeah, he looked at the role because he was, he was a race car driver,
Modern Johnny.
Yeah, his father owned the race car track place and whatever else. So that one, I don't think the hat thing, but the hat might have been the same. But what else was there? The cop was not the same.
Oh, I came with that girl. Well, you ain't leaving with her.
Yeah, the dance at the club. Yeah, so there were some like they picked the top ones for that video that we just watched that you found. Yeah. So they were pretty much similar to those ones. So yeah, there was some in there, obviously.
I believe in you. I don't believe in everything you believe in.
Yeah. I believe I can fly.
About her spreading her legs wide eagle.
What do you mean?
On the truck, in the car.
Yeah, the shoe's loose, bro.
Her feet weren't loose.
What?
Her fucking goose was loose. And the whole fucking kit and caboodle was.
Well, that was the point of the character, wasn't it?
Was that she just fucking threw around?
Well, wasn't that the stereotype of like religious girls and reverends and ministers' daughters and kids and Catholic schoolgirls? That's what they were like? So she played it that way in the 80s,
she initiated getting her ass kicked under the bleachers. He was just trying to check in on her. Not even trying to justify it.
You so just justified it. All right, there's one thing. Okay, I'll admit there's one thing to push a girl down for breaking your windshield, but you do not punch a girl.
Yeah, he gave her the closed fist.
Yeah, you don't close fist a chick.
And he goes, yeah, and what?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like she was being like, there's those brutal chicks who like will sit there and you literally do have to hit back. But she wasn't. She was doing your atypical like. And slapping him.
She smashed out all his lights.
Well, I know she beat up the truck, but that involves pushing her away. But not
went for him too. She
not cold clocking him.
She jumped off the joint. She was trying to get him.
Jumped off the joint.
She should have just walked away.
What's the joint?
I don't remember. I just remember she was the aggressor.
Yes, every girl's the aggressor, just like Bill Burr says.
She was the aggressor.
So we're gonna get some little factoids here on Footloose. This is what kind of triggered my thoughts on this. So Kevin Bacon had 4 dance doubles, mostly for that warehouse scene that John criticized him for dancing in, because that wasn't actually him dancing.
Wow.
So take that, John Regal.
The gymnast part's the best.
And so the studio asked him to lie about it, though, and not say that he had dance doubles. And
wow.
Because
back then they could do that.
And when Kevin Bacon took the role, he thought he could wing the dancing. He didn't think he'd actually have to learn. Till he actually found out that he had to learn. Kenny Wormald from the 2011 version was a world champion dancer. He is from Boston.
He's running shit.
Yeah, he danced for the president when he was a teenager for President Clinton. So Clinton probably jerked off to that afterwards.
Right.
So needless to say, we know Julian Hough is a dancer. So needless to say, he definitely did not have dance doubles unless it was something, I'm sure, extremely physical. So
Julian Hough is the modern one.
Yes, and she is pretty damn attractive, if I do say so myself.
Because I think I just got a tattoo out of these Cracker Jacks.
Did you?
I think so.
Sweet. That's all they give in the bags, right? So Footloose is actually based off a true story.
Huh?
Yep. It's loosely based off the town of Elmore City, Oklahoma, known for the saying of, if the South is the Bible Belt, then we are the buckle. Dancing.
Fire.
Yes, dancing was really outlawed in a local high school. And local high school students had to ask to eventually allow dancing at the prom. What the fuck kind of prom were the? What did you do at the proms before? Bobbing for apples and shit?
Just chilling.
Like you literally just hung out and played hopscotch?
Yeah.
So when I read that, I was blown away. The town reverend actually did hate dancing as well. The songwriter for fame who wrote the script for Footloose heard of the story, and he wanted to make a movie about it, though he had never actually wrote a movie before, but obviously it worked. So the characters of Ren and Ariel and a couple and Willard were actually based off of real people. Yep. Kevin Bacon went undercover at a local high school in that area in Utah, as a high school student, and he said it was pretty much exactly the same it was in the movie. People were like, the guys were like, making fun of him, the girls were giggling, and he did meet somebody who was very similar to Willard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it kind of just really worked out. The only people who knew were the guidance counselors and the principal that he was there to observe and study. But I thought that was pretty fucking cool. He's like, it was pretty much.
How old was Kevin Bacon when this came out, you think?
I don't know, but I do know this. Well, now that you're asking.
See, they were drinking beer in there, too. You can't drink beer at high school.
It was the South. Back then, they didn't really card stuff in the 80s, John. I think that was more the point.
Wow.
But he was actually only 9 years younger than John Lithgow in that movie.
Wow.
Yeah. In Ariel as well. So that tells you how old they were. They did not look that the way, though. So, yeah, he was definitely older, but he looks younger, so I guess it's whatever. Unless he was there as a teacher's assistant or something.
John Lithgow has a serious role in that.
John Lithgow as a serious role is really good. He's funny. He's a great actor overall. Mm-hmm. His look was actually inspired by the Police because he loved the look of the Police with the tie and the hair, and he did all that stuff. Tom Cruise almost played the role of Ren, but he had to do Risky Business, I believe. And Zac Efron almost played the role of Ren in the remake, but he dropped out eventually, and there was a couple other people until finally.
Yeah, because he
settled on this guy.
High School Musical, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris Penn really did not know how to dance, so those dance, him learning the dance montage was pretty accurate from what I understand. So, the original Footloose was actually shot in a Mormon area of Utah, and they really thought they were the devil and they were evil because they were complaining about all the skinny dipping, drinking, and sex going on, off while they weren't filming, and I guess it was true that they really were doing, but they were also intrigued at the same time about what was going on.
That's hilarious. They're like, damn, Hollywood bringing the death out.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny. So now when Kevin Bacon shows up to parties and stuff, everybody expects him to actually dance. Someone will request to put Footloose on and make a circle and expect him to dance. So he goes in. As soon as he walks in, he goes straight to the DJ now and tells him, do not play Footloose. Because I guess, it's pretty typical to be, stereotypes.
He's a cool guy to chill with. He seems like
it, yeah. Let's see. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Melanie Griffith, Rosanna Arquette, Meg Ryan, and Daryl Hannah were offered the roles of Ariel.
Yo. Is Aunt Becky in this movie, too?
No.
No?
I don't think so. Who would she play?
I thought I seen on a highlight reel that Aunt Becky was kissing Ariel's truck driving boyfriend.
I don't think that was
in
the dance. No, because he wasn't in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
He was beat up outside in the parking lot. Come on now. The guy wasn't even in high school. Why would he be allowed in the prom? So,
her father had no problem with her dating that guy?
I don't know. I don't think he knew. So, they were never around, and they were always fucking in the woods in the first one. Second one, they weren't.
They're out there dating pedophile Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
Trying to reverend the people.
Reverend the people. So that was Footloose, folks. Factoid's an enjoyable movie. That I originally planned to do this by myself because I didn't think John was going to show up because I couldn't get a hold of him yesterday because I forgot why. And so I just assumed I was going to. That's why I picked Footloose because I enjoy this. I know John probably didn't really care as much for it, but he did do his homework. He did well with it because it's not really much to the story. I like dance movies, but I really like Footloose. So
I love Drumline with Nick Cannon.
That wasn't a dance movie, dude. That was a band movie.
Different.
John doesn't like dance movies, but I love Drumline. What are you talking about, kid?
Love Drumline.
Yeah. Drumline.
Dude, stomp the
Drumline.
Bring It On. That was a cheer movie, right?
Yeah. Bring It On was great, though. The first one.
But Footloose, the drama in the 80s is fire. I need to watch this new one now in full, though. 100%.
It's exactly the same. Except the dancing.
That's what I want.
Except the dancing's way better. Way better.
Way better.
Way better, kid.
Do they dubstep at all? Like.
Is that dubstepping?
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't do that.
No.
No.
I love that.
It's just traditional hip hop dancing in jazz versions of jazz dancing. It's no
You gotta be on.
yeah,
I love that.
well, you gotta watch Step Up. You gotta watch Step Up for those ones. Step Up 3 is the one to watch. The one that takes place in Miami. They do a lot of that.
That's a good sound. That was nice.
So, you got anything else to add to this? I don't either. So, folks, don't forget you can follow us on Instagram at John Regal, at GrownUp90, at Soul.Criminal. If you are listening to us, you can watch us on YouTube, see some clips that we will play that I will throw in here.
Hopefully we drop another 3 pounds each next week.
Yeah, so we will be down to 6, even though we're supposed to lose 10 pounds a month. So we're doing pretty good, actually, if we're losing 10 pounds a month.
Right? It's like football.
Yeah.
You gotta get 3 to 4 yards every run.
Yep. So here's Rambo. Did you enjoy your hot dogs, buddy?
Get away from me.
So, and if you are listening to us, you can also search us on YouTube and watch us. Like I said, just search Growing Up 90, all one word. You can also give us a call at 802-647-3263. No one has prank called us yet. I don't know why. And you can also, if you are watching us on YouTube, you can listen to us in traffic and enjoy our lovely voices at, if you search iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean for Growing Up 90. And that is that, folks. And until next time, that was the quickest podcast we've ever done.
Is that still an hour?
That's 45 minutes.
Look at that, Rambo.
That's good. That is good. So until next time, folks, we'll talk to you later.
Is that,
See ya.